Hello and welcome to DCP SideQuest episode number 63. The one where we merge function and form food courts. The one about IKEA, all right?
I see.
Well, today we're talking
RGB.
meatballs.
Yes. Yeah. First question is, who's a fan of Swedish meatballs?
When I ate Swedish meatballs, they were great. The hot dogs were
fantastic. There's a concerning story about horse meat being involved in the production of those that I kind of took a step back at that point.
Some places
just great though.
Whoa there, neighbor.
Some places just eat horse meat.
Was this a Facebook article?
I don't believe so. I believe that was
I think it was a legit thing.
Oh yeah? Whoa.
I think it was a thing.
I haven't eaten Swedish meatballs there for probably 10 years or something because I'm pretty sure they're not gluten-free. And as your resident gluten-free person, or free, yeah, exactly.
I can probably confirm they're also not vegan, just in case you weren't sure.
Really? The meatballs? Damn.
Probably not.
You got no like impossible meatballs or something?
Maybe they do now. They might. They might in the
and gluten-free cinnamon rolls? I mean,
if they were making the vegan one, right, and it was like the impossible version, like, do they still put the meat in the name? Because if they don't, they'd just be impossible balls.
That is brilliant. I would buy those just for the name alone.
You got some impossible balls there, mate.
I'll take 4 impossible
That's gonna go
balls.
perfectly with my bag of dicks.
There you go. There's the title for today's podcast: Impossible Balls and Bag of.
Yes.
There you go.
So, for anybody wondering why we're talking about IKEA, if you haven't seen, there has been an announcement that ASUS ROG has partnered with IKEA to bring affordable gaming furniture.
That's right. You get your RGB and your slate-colored walnut veneer all in one place.
Man, I saw this and I was like, 2020, what is happening, man? This is crazy.
Does that mean that all of the ROG stuff is going to have like random IKEA names? Like, this is the ROG Craig and the ROG Benjamin.
Yes.
I think they already do, don't they? Doesn't ROG kind of have random names for stuff? I think I have a power supply that's named Thor.
Yeah, I know you're talking
wondering, is the computer built into the desk? Is the monitor built into the desk? You press a button, it goes me.
Yeah. Do you have to assemble everything? Assemble your laptop, right?
Maybe.
In a perfect world, though, in a perfect world, this partnership could be awesome, right? If we got like kind of affordable, nice looking, modern furniture that also accommodated like gaming design into it, not visual design, but functional design, like a place to store your keyboard and mouse and like mouse pads that blend into the desk and like a slot for your computer or a slot for your like PS4, Xbox, like all that kind of stuff. Like that could actually be really dope.
I'll be honest.
It's not going to be like that. It's just going to be RGB.
I'm pretty excited about the prospect. So this is an IKEA desk that I'm using right now.
Same.
Yeah. Like it's a good size. I would love it if they made more desks that were suitable for multiple monitors and different systems and all that kind of stuff. And they could totally do the whole mouse pad being the entire desk thing.
Yeah.
A couple places do that. And that would be super cool if they do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not off the top. It sounds ridiculous. In a perfect world, it could be cool. In an imperfect world, it'll probably be ridiculous.
Your keyboard now comes with an assembly manual.
Yeah.
And you now need to build your keyboard. And this is just the same desk you bought, but £10 more with a green light in it.
RGB strip around the sides, right?
Yeah.
Like you guys have seen those desks that have like a PC built in, like it's a glass top desk and you can see through the glass top and your desk is like built inside the PC or inside your PC is built inside the desk. Like that's kind of cool. And like if IKEA could make that, that'd be neat.
So my first instinct actually was gaming chairs that they
like because that'd be nice
because
they're
obviously
trying to take the Herman Miller on.
So Herman Miller Logitech obviously that sparked probably some sort of we should be getting into this market, but the desk does seem obvious too, but I could see them doing like gaming chairs that you build at home that are hopefully semi ergonomic and not not bad.
That's
for you.
the problem with gaming chairs, right? Is that they're completely non-ergonomic. Like they're just like straight flat backs.
Mm.
Yes. And they kind of push your shoulders forward too, because when you're driving, like you want to be alert and forward. And I get maybe for competition in gaming, that's okay.
Mhm.
But if you're sitting there for like 8 hours, you don't want to be super forward all the time.
No.
Yeah.
It's funny that they picked like kind of those like race car sports to like model those off of.
Yeah.
Because it's like those aren't even in regular cars. Those are just in like the most extreme racing cars. And they're really purpose built to keep you, sitting in a position in opposition to like G-forces that are trying to push you sideways, which are not present when you're playing video games.
I literally
I always wondered, why do they have such aggressive bolstering? Really what you want is more like a Cadillac seat. Something long-term comfortable.
I mean, when I first saw this stuff, I was like, you're trying to market speed. Like as if your chair
speedy, intense.
your chair is going to equate to being super cool and on somehow increasing the clock speed of your CPU just by buying this chair.
But this makes total sense. If another company saw Logitech go with Herman Miller is incredibly expensive and probably out of the range for
was it like $1,500?
It's $1,500, yeah. $1,500,
$1,200.
$1,200. It's a lot of money. It's a lot. So if someone went to IKEA and they're like, okay, we can make something that's comfortable, that works, but is affordable, that's super smart. That is smart.
Yeah, and the availability is such that you can actually go try it out before you buy it, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Not everybody's got an IKEA store near them, but a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And,
I just hope that they have
I
hope they have like a section. You know how like you can walk through the kitchen, the living room, all these like pre-made things. I want to see like the gaming den. That's like fully kitted out.
Maybe they're gonna do the bunk bed with the slide on it with a gaming desk built in. I always wanted one of those. The bed with the slide on. I never got it when I was a kid, but now I'm a grown man.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy that.
Merge it with a gaming desk, and I'm gonna do it. Because then you can nerd out all day. Then you can go to your bed, and then you can slide down in the morning, and you get back to your gaming desk. You don't have to move.
Yeah, I love it.
Brilliant.
I love it.
Hey, maybe what they'll do is try to have competition for that Scorpion chair. They're like, the Scorpion chair looks cool. Maybe we'll make the Beetle chair or something.
What's the Scorpion chair? Is that the Logitech one?
Yeah. Wait, you haven't seen the Scorpion thing on Twitter? Oh yeah.
I have seen that. That's the one that comes around over your head.
Yeah, you get cocooned
cocooned
by a device that looks
comfy.
like a. Yeah, it does. It looks like you're being cocooned by a Scorpion with a triple monitor setup that like actually has these movable parts. You
guys
want that.
Wishful thinking.
You laugh at the Logitech chair, the Logitech Herman Miller, but I'm actually really considering getting one of those. Like I want to try it out before I buy it, but I'm really considering getting one of those.
The Embody is good. It's a good chair.
Yeah. I've never sat in one, but everybody says it's good. It's good for your back. It puts you in a good posture. And the amount of time I spend sitting in a desk chair is about equal to how much time I spend laying in a bed. It's roughly equal. And I spend a lot of money on a bed, but for some reason, I cannot bring myself to spend a lot of money on an office chair. And I don't think that is a really good equation to have. Like, I have back problems.
Yeah, if you think about it lasting for 10 years, then you equate that to how much you'd spend on a crappy chair over every like 2 to 3 years. It actually makes sense for an investment. But my problem with the Logitech chair is, doesn't Herman Miller already have quality office chairs that were designed for what you're doing?
The Logitech chair is the Embody chair with the Logitech blue on it.
Okay.
Is that the only difference? There's no difference.
It's the only difference.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, that's really
I didn't know that. I do want to find, like, the only thing I got to do is I actually got to go find a place where I can sit in one of these chairs and make sure it's comfortable, because I'm not willing to order online a chair that costs upwards of $1,000 without having ever tried sitting in it.
Especially
with
especially with a 3090 around the corner in your future, Briar. Obviously.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So speaking of the new graphics cards,
you're not.
Did you happen to see the leaked test results, the FPS results, the performance results of the 3080?
What's up?
I wasn't that impressed with it. Like, based on what Nvidia had said at their press conference, I was expecting a bigger leap in performance than what these are leaked results, right? We don't know if they're legit, so grain of salt here, obviously. But like the 3080 over the 2080 Ti, you're not looking at that big a difference, really. Like at 1440, like here's a couple of examples. At 1440 with Far Cry New Dawn, you're looking at about a 6% increase in performance.
What's the overall FPS that they were hitting?
129 to 122.
Okay. For me,
okay, at 4K, you're getting a bigger difference. Okay, because that's taking less load off of your CPU and put more on the GPU. That's a bigger difference. It's almost a 20% difference but it's a weird difference to be in because you're going from 97 FPS or from 79 FPS to 97 FPS. So you're still not in that 144 hertz range, which you'd really like to be.
Mm-hmm.
But with both of them, you're above 60 FPS, which most 4K monitors can display. Like that's the max they can display anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's kind of it's a weird upgrade that I'm not so sure. Like I want to see the numbers actually come in for legits. Like I want to see real test reviewers get these things in their hands and see if these are legit numbers. But I also want to see if the 3090 is like a legit bump over the 3080, because the 3080 as a 2080 Ti owner, and not everybody has a 2080 Ti, and I understand that a lot of people are looking to upgrade it from a 1080 Ti or a 2060 or 2070 or something like that. But I wasn't super compelled by these numbers that I saw.
Interesting. I mean, seems a lot to be CPU based as well with those type of numbers.
Yeah, for sure.
The higher you get with the FPS, the more crunch that's happening for the CPU and less for the GPU, technically, because all the calculations per cycle.
Yeah, you're more likely to see a CPU bottleneck with lower resolutions and high frame rates. I think where the 3080, and the 3090 might really strut their stuff is at 4K, where they can hit higher frame rates. But like they got to hit a higher frame rate that's actually meaningful,
Yeah, I feel like if you're really truly trying to get high FPS 4K experience, I don't think the 3080 is going to do that. I think the 3080 is designed to be a 4K 60 card, whereas the 3090 is the really high FPS. But you're going to have to match that with like latest tech CPU and potentially PCIe 4 for just a little bit of an increase.
CPUs have been stalled for a few years now. Like they're really not getting that much faster. But you do have to spend a whole lot of money on a new monitor if you want to get high frame rate 4K.
That's the other thing too. Yeah.
Like equal in price to a 3090 probably. Your monitor is going to cost you.
They're just not realistic right now for the average consumer.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So based on like what most people are going to target then is 1440p, then the numbers just aren't that compelling. At least as a 2080 Ti, user already. If you're running a 1080 Ti or even a 2080, then the numbers are much better. Like it's easier to justify, or a 2070 or 2060. Like anything down from that, it's much easier to justify. But it's not the jump that like 2x is kind of what they were.
2x
they're
of a 2080.
1.9 times faster
Of a 2080 though, not a 2080 Ti.
Yeah, that's not it. That's not what we're seeing here in these leaked numbers.
What other games were there that they leaked?
They only leaked 2: Far Cry New Dawn and Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and then some synthetic test bench stuff, which those are all theoretical numbers anyway.
I feel like Far Cry New Dawn wasn't really like a optimized PC game.
Yeah, I hear you.
Because
it definitely ran slow.
Yeah, because like any piece of hardware or software that isn't optimized for this type of performance is gonna get run down regardless of the hardware that you throw at it.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. We should start hearing like kind of reviews, like official reviews, come out about this. I thought they were supposed to come out today. I was hoping to see them today, but apparently maybe tomorrow.
When is the order stuff going live? And do you have?
I want to say the 16th.
Do you have like a game plan
for the 3080?
Oh, so it might be tomorrow then.
Might be tomorrow.
The reviews.
Yeah.
If it comes out on the 16th, I don't know. Sometime this week. Oh, the NDA has been extended to the 16th.
Oh, that's not good news.
Oh,
What are you trying to hide, Nvidia?
maybe they're trying to wait because on the 18th, Crisis comes out. Maybe they want to know if it can run Crisis.
8K
That's a fair
Crisis.
point. Crisis is the ball buster. The impossible ball
The Impossible Balls. Impossible Ball Edition.
They come back again.
Yeah. Briar, do you have a game plan for getting your order ready?
Which order? Because there's several game plans in place.
Your 3080. Oh, actually,
I'm not gonna pre-order. I'm not pre-ordering.
So you're officially out on the 3080?
I think so. Like, so it's supposed to release on September 17th. I'm kind of more targeting the 3090.
Obviously.
Or just
what would a trust fund baby do?
Altogether.
Clearly targeted 3090. It adds up.
Look, it's like if you don't spend it, what do you do with it, right?
According to Briar, let's see. You invest it. You put it in some stocks, bonds, real estate. This was Briar's financial advice last week.
Real estate, man, never goes out of style. Never goes out of style.
Maybe get some race horses.
Oh yeah, racehorses.
3 more.
Racehorses.
Well, as a 1080 Ti
All
owner,
these things are
I'm
technically
very
accurate,
excited.
and I'm like having a little bit of trouble fighting it.
As a 1080 Ti owner, I'm very much looking forward to the 3080. Even if it is a bit better than the 2080 Ti, it's still going to be cheaper than a 2080 Ti new right now, considerably.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you're looking like more in the range of like a 40% increase over the 1080 Ti.
Sure. But it's also
And that's pretty significant.
Yeah. That is significant.
Yeah, definitely. And it's cheaper than the 2080 Ti. So,
Yeah.
well,
like
I guess
30 to 40.
if you buy it secondhand, I guess technically it's not cheaper.
Yeah. 2080 Ti's are now selling for like $500 on eBay,
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
which is
That dropped
really
pretty
pissing
fast.
some people off. Yeah, sure did. Right? Like they were going for what? I think they're still like $1,300 like a month ago.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you know Wednesday we'll have a clearer viewpoint on how this stuff is going to look. So
Yeah.
Right.
Wednesday is going to be a pretty spicy day, though.
Yeah, because Wednesday is also the PlayStation announcement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Wait.
Yeah.
Are
Prices.
we getting pre-order date stuff there?
I feel like we have to.
I don't
I mean,
know.
there've been some unlisted videos on the PlayStation channel that people are thinking might be a thing, and the fact that Microsoft have now come forward with the prices. I mean, I feel like it was that war of attrition before, but like now their prices out there, like they've got no reason to hold back. It's the interesting play though. Like I'm really interested to see where they come.
It could be holding back from shame.
I have a theory that Sony knows the prices. They're going to undercut slightly, but then say pre-orders are available right now. So then everyone's like, oh, it's cheaper than the Xbox is available right now. Xbox, I can't pre-order yet. Oh, let me go buy the PlayStation.
What do you mean?
Theory.
What do you mean cheaper? You're not talking about the S, right? You're talking about cheaper than
not
the
the S. Yeah. The X.
Do you think they're going to be priced right in between the S and the X?
Yes.
You think they're
For
going 400?
both of them?
I'm gonna guess like a $50 difference between the both of them.
Between the
So you're
physical
saying
and the
400 and
The
450?
disc and the non.
Okay.
Yes.
So what?
Yes.
400 and
I feel like
450?
Yeah.
Yes.
I like that price. I think that
You're like,
I
I
think
like
it's
your idea.
really-
Let's do that.
I think it's really aggressive. You know, like, and it represents value. Sony's got the less powerful machine, right? You know, we know that.
Yeah.
But the SSD is more powerful. But the GPU is not as powerful by like 2 teraflops. So 12 teraflop versus 10 teraflop, basically.
Yeah.
The
Still,
thing is, the
it's hard
interesting thing
to
think about
charge
it,
more.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to charge more because it's not going to be cheap. But there's the one thing that sort of, I mean, consoles are always typically sold at a loss anyway, right? You know, you make it back like afterwards. But like, I feel like Sony have always kind of got this thing where they're quite a like proud company. You know, it's the whole reason that they don't necessarily, not to say other companies aren't proud, but I mean, it's the whole reason that they're always the stickler for crossplay because they're like, well, why do we want to do crossplay? Because people have to come to our platform. So I feel like if they did undercut, it would be insane. But there's the other kind of angle for it, because it's like, well, if they don't, they could also turn around and be like, all right, we're going to go more expensive. But Microsoft have now, okay, they do have a compelling package. Obviously, they've got Game Pass, it's now got EA Access in, but they don't have any first-party titles for strong launches. So then PlayStation could look at it and be like, well, they could buy an Xbox as like a next-gen means to play the third-party games, or they can play all those third-party games on our system, and we have the exclusives. You know, the rumors right now are that like Dark Souls might be like a launch title, and then like a couple of like Ratchet and Clank.
Ratchet and Clank,
and then so you know, if you have a couple of those ones there, and you can play the third-party ones, like Sony could just take the strong angle and be like, we're going to go more expensive, but we're going to lean on the fact that we've got the games that Microsoft clearly don't have initially, because it's going to be like, all right, why do I want to upgrade to next gen right now when I can either play those games on my PC or I can play all those games still on my Xbox One? It's like, it's kind of a hard sell. So they could take the kind of proud angle and be like, actually, we're still going to go more expensive, but you're just going to buy it anyway.
Yeah.
So
I also think that the Sony fanboys is the wrong word. I think that because fanboys has a negative connotation to it.
Those,
but I think that,
the
how
Sony
do you really
ponies?
feel?
Is that better? Is that better, Brian? The Sony ponies?
yeah, that's way better. I think that the people have a stronger connection to the Sony brand because of the exclusives that they've gotten over the years.
Definitely.
Because they've just gotten like these super, super strong exclusive titles. And that's not to say that Microsoft doesn't have, you know, their fans as well and people who are connected to those brands like Gears of War and Halo. But those brands, I feel like, are on the decline in general. And Microsoft doesn't really bring it in that arena. I mean, Game Pass is like on a cerebral level. When you look at it, you're like, God damn, Game Pass is such a good value. Plus, you can buy into that financing deal and get Game Pass Ultimate plus a brand new console for $35 a month and not pay a dime more, even though you get to hold on to that money. You know, it's in your pocket instead of Microsoft's pocket for, you know, while you're paying it.
They don't have any games, bruh.
Game Pass is filled with games.
They don't have any games, man. Have you seen?
The fact that EA just like brought Origin to it, Origin access to it, is like, oh my God, that's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
You know, I'm really one of the games I'm looking forward to the most is Squadrons that's coming up. You know, I'm a Star Wars fan. Like, what am I going to do? I used to love the X-Wing and TIE Fighter games, so I'm just really looking forward to this. And if that's going to be on Origin Access, which means it's going to be on Game Pass, that means I get to play it for free, included with my subscription on PC and on Xbox. You know, also Destiny, I'm going to be able to play. I'm not going to have to pay a dime for Destiny this time around, right? I'm just going to, it's part of my Game Pass subscription. I'm going to be able to play it on my PC and my Xbox. Like, that's awesome. That's a lot of value to me personally, like right there. Like, there's a ton of games. Like, most of the games I'm playing right now are in fact on Game Pass. I'm playing, you know, Flight Simulator. I'm playing Spiritfarer. I'm playing, well, Battletoads I'm not really playing, to be honest with you. Wasteland 3, you know, and these are games that are just sitting here.
Yeah, you're still gonna have to buy a season pass though for Destiny, just to FYI. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but still, like, you get Beyond Light and all the previous DLC.
Yeah,
it's very compelling. Like,
does that sell you a new console though? If you can play it on,
yes,
your
I think
old
it did,
console.
because I think I had come around to the fact that I wasn't going to buy an Xbox at launch, but after kind of looking at like the financing plan, like, you know, it's just an easy way to buy a console for $35 a month for 2 years. Plus, I'm already paying for Game Pass Ultimate, so that bill's going to kind of go away. So I'm like, you know, I'm paying more money a month than I am now, but I get a brand new console. I get to play all these games like on the brand new. This is a very powerful console. I'm actually, I think they did sell me a console. Like, Game Pass did it.
Interesting. Yeah. I'm definitely leaning more towards just financing the Series X, just because, like, I was gonna get Game Pass anyways for this stuff. And I'm like,
true.
I don't know. It's a really good value proposition. I mean, clearly the first party titles for PS5 are going to be amazing, and it's going to be exciting to see that stuff. But I've been saying I feel like Microsoft is moving away from the console aspect of stuff and moving more towards becoming the Netflix of games, to where they want it to be a constant stream of content that you get access to, as opposed to buying into a hardware and then making sure you stick with that piece of hardware.
Do you think Microsoft ever opens up Xbox to be like manufactured by other companies? Like you can buy like a Panasonic Xbox or a
interesting
Xbox. Like, and then like depending on where you buy, or a Dell Xbox, you know, you just buy these things retail. They have different specs depending on how much money you want to spend, but they're guaranteed to run Xbox games.
Interesting idea.
Yeah, I could see them going down that path, because it definitely feels less like they're invested in trying to make you want a Xbox Series X, and more of it being an option if you don't have other options for your gaming already. Because like I'm sure in the long run the Game Pass price and cost is more lucrative for them in the long run, with more people paying a monthly fee.
Yeah. Well, it's the same kind of like model. I mean, not the same model, but it's the same kind of thing that makes like free-to-play games work, right? Because like everyone's able to get in, and then suddenly you spend little bits of money here and there, and that's suddenly like, oh, that's a lot of money. Game Pass is huge for them, so it's definitely going to be. Yeah, it's definitely weird. Like that's the thing. Like it's funny because I'm someone that likes tech anyway. Like I will buy new consoles regardless. It's like, even if the console has no games and it's absolutely trash, I'm gonna buy it anyway. But it's just weird that it's like, you know, it used to be the thing where it's like no questions asked, I'm buying it and I'm excited for it regardless. I will say with the Xbox, you know, I get excited because it's just like it's new, and that's just like, you know, I like the kind of hype around it. But I am still very much the mind that like I feel like I could still see myself buying the Xbox One X, Xbox 4, whatever, buying the Xbox 4, putting it on my desk, and still playing the games on my PC. Like, it's the same thing. My Xbox One, my Xbox. Where is it? Flipping hell, my Xbox One X right now.
Yes.
Wait, is that? Yes,
that's the current one, and it's as confusing as it sounds.
It's not even plugged in. It's just sitting there next to my PlayStation because I don't need to. I can play with the games on my PC. But then I think back to university days, I was an Xbox gamer. I was 360 more. Like my PS3 gathered dust. I was on my 360 like every day. But now I'm just like, I don't need to. Like they've literally said I can play it on PC. So
I mean, I'm definitely buying a PlayStation this time around. Ratchet and Clank Future for sure. If that's a launch title, I want to play it at launch. I'm really digging that game. If that's not a launch title, it's heavily rumored that it's not a launch title. It'll be in the launch window, which could mean anything from now until the next 6 months. So we don't know if that's a launch title. If it's not a launch title, then the Xbox basically has, or Xbox and PS5 both have the same launch lineup, which is squat. But the Xbox has Game Pass, and they have, you know, backward compatibility, and we still don't really understand PS5's backward compatibility. Like they said, like it'll work with some games. We know which
I have
games
a very confusing title from IGN that talks about backwards compatibility that won't tell you anything whatsoever, but I just want to say it because Briar's brain's going to explode.
I like it.
The Xbox Series S will not run Xbox One X enhanced versions of backwards compatible games, but will instead run Xbox One S versions of Xbox One and Xbox 360 titles.
Holy crap, that's confusing.
That makes perfect sense.
That is some like two trains leaving at different times. When are they going to meet? God damn, I don't know. Jesus.
All of the comments to this tweet are just GIFs being like, no idea. No idea what you just said.
So wait, the Xbox One runs the Xbox S. Yeah.
God, they have just screwed up their marketing so hard with these boxes, man.
Oh, man. I don't know why they don't just go with Xbox 4 or use the code names that they use. The code names are always so cool. Like
they're more
Scorpio
memorable.
and Scarlet. Yeah, it's so cool.
I can tell the difference between a Scarlet and a Phoenix, not a S and an X and a 1 and a...
Yeah. Question on backwards compatible, though. Like, this is a genuine thing, because I know that every time a new console comes out, you know, there's always the question of like, oh, can I play my old games? Maybe it's just me. Like, you know, I enjoy like going back to like playing other games like to a degree, but I basically never use the backwards compatibility functionality of my console. I'm never like, I've just bought an Xbox One, let me put in my Xbox 360 game. Like, I would love to see the numbers of people that actually do that, because I feel like it must be really small.
I bet you're right. I bet it is really small, but there are some times when a game is very special to me, that I would love to be able to put it back in and get an enhanced version of it. And that's what Xbox, I think, has really been kicking ass at doing. Like, you can get Panzer Dragon for the Xbox, and you can shove it into an Xbox One X and get a 4K version of a game that never supported 4K. You know, like, that's super compelling. You know, if PlayStation made that promise for Bloodstained or Bloodborne, sorry. Like, would that not sell you a PS5 like right there? Like, oh my God, if you buy a PS5, you can put in your old copy of Bloodborne and get 60 FPS out of Bloodborne. I'd be like, sign me up, man. It's one of the best games ever, and it solves the biggest problem of the game.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
You know, I agree with you. I agree with you, but there are some use cases where I really do dig on it.
I feel like it's more compelling if it's definitely like an upgrade, but I feel like, you know, sometimes it's more just literally a case of, oh, can my PS3 play PS2 games? No upgrade, just can it play them? And I'm just like, those situations, I mean, maybe I've never been like, oh, gee, let me go and grab my 360 disc and put it in my Xbox One just so I can play the old game. It's like, but again,
I think it's gonna.
I know there's
I think it's going to come in more in handy too as these generations, like the generational leap is going to get smaller and smaller, and the difference between the hardware is getting smaller and smaller. So, like, if it'll become more like a PC game, where if you upgrade your PC, then all your PC games just look better now because they run smoother, they have higher resolution,
right?
You know, like, and I think that is also going to start happening in the console space, where if you put an Xbox One game into an Xbox 4, it's just going to look better because it's now running on better hardware. And if programmers know that's going to happen, they'll also design around that. They won't start locking, like, one of the problems with From Software games is that, like, the whole world is locked to 30 FPS, so, like, weird things happen if you adjust the FPS in the game. Like, ladders kill you when they fall, and, like, you know, like, weird stuff, right? Because the whole game is designed around running at 30 FPS, so, like, the internal clock speed of the game. So, like, if developers know that in the future this game may very well be running on more powerful hardware, so we should account for that. You know, like, that's going to increase the value of backward compatibility as well.
True.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm really excited about both of the consoles. I'm not gonna lie.
It's never been something for me that sells a console backwards compatibility. Like, it's nice to have the option, and I know some people obviously like to go back to a lot of different games and try that stuff out. And if Bloodborne was like, hey, we're gonna do 60 FPS on Bloodborne 4K, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm ready for that. But for the most part,
which we think they're gonna do, but they're gonna sell us a new copy of the game to do it.
Interesting. For the most part, though, that doesn't sell me a new console. I'm always looking forward to, like, the new technology and the new stuff that can happen with that.
You're looking forward to Wednesday coming and them saying, oh, we forgot to mention a launch title. Elden Ring trailer pops up.
Oh, man. Can you imagine?
I would.
Imagine?
I'd go comatose.
It will never happen because they're redoing freaking Demon Souls, but that would get me.
Hey, Demon Souls? What if Demon Souls launch title?
I
think that'd be pretty compelling.
Is
it?
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
God, I would freak out. I'd be so ready for that.
I can't wait.
Elden Ring.
But what if?
Maybe for Elden Ring, they'll be like, well, because we're working with what's his name? Who's
J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, because this guy takes ages to write stories. We're now going to release Elden Ring in chapters, like a Hitman game. So you can play chapter 1 this year, and in 5 years you can get chapter 2.
Right. And then you'll never get chapter 3.
Yeah,
exactly.
George R.R. Martin, right? That's who you're talking about.
Yeah,
that's it.
Oh, yeah. I don't know why I said J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, I heard J.J. Abrams, and I was like, "Lens flares in Elden Ring."
I would play a game designed by J.J. Abrams too. To be honest with you,
he's working with FromSoft, making a Viking game. How strange! Strange pivot, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, it's true.
So yeah, I'm excited for the PS5 announcement. I hope they announce the price. I hope they announce when we can pre-order. Like, I'm a little concerned because they're doing that, like, on their own store pre-order thing, which is sure to be a disaster. Like if there's only one place to order this thing, when it goes live, it's going to sell out, and like it's going to be like, you know, loading and erroring out. It's going to be a mess. So I hope it just goes wide. Like you can go to GameSpot or Best Buy or Amazon or wherever.
Yeah, some game websites have started doing like you actually have to physically register your interest. They've been some, like in the UK, they've been sort of sending emails out being like, oh, it's looking like stock might be like super limited. So if you want to be informed, like you have to register your interest, and then we'll email you to let you know, kind of thing. So, yeah. I still hope that kind of that potential rumor about it being like a staggered release is. I mean, it won't affect you guys because the staggered release suggestion is that the US will get it first and we get it later. But I don't want to wait
because we're number one.
What if they said the next chapter of Final Fantasy VII is a launch title?
That's not going to happen, but blow my mind.
I mean, I'd freak out, but yeah, I'd be like.
Although rumors,
I still wouldn't believe it even if they announced it.
Yeah, the other rumors are that this week they will get our first look at Final Fantasy 16.
Really?
Oh, launch Final Fantasy 16 PS5 launch title.
I heard, guys. I heard Destiny 3 launch title for PS5. Destiny 3.
I heard they were bought by Microsoft as of this morning. I don't know.
These freaking rumor mills. I couldn't believe that. I was like, yeah, sure.
So are you guys, what are you guys going to order? Like, so we've got the new graphics cards, we got the new consoles. What are you going to get?
I will take the lot, except for 3090. None of those. Don't need that.
I'm getting PS5. I think I'm going to wait on the graphics card because I have the 2080 Ti. So I think I'm going to wait for like second party cards to start coming out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'll do PS5, Xbox, and then I'm still going to rock a 1080. Until I need to upgrade. I want to be the peasant PC gamer.
That's what I think I'm going to do too. I think I'm going to get an Xbox. I'm going to use the financing to get that. I'm going to get a PS5, and I think I'm not saying I'm not going to buy a new graphics card, but I'm going to at least wait and see the reviews before I go ahead and pre-order.
Man,
like I can wait till next year to buy a
remember last episode when Briar was talking about each individual frame meaning the same amount of purpose to your experience, and here goes Briar saying, "Oh,
if
it's only 5 to 10% more than my 2080 Ti, like, come on, like why would I even consider something like that?" Wow, Briar.
The fact is, I'm just not playing that many PC games right now. I'm more excited for the new consoles than I am for a bump in PC performance right now. Like, I'm really excited to be gaming, at 60 FPS. 4K on the consoles. Like, that's going to be really fun. Like, in the living room, the OLED TV looks magnificent. There's no computer monitor that I have that even comes close to what that thing can do. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I think it really feels like we've hit a point where the visual fidelity of games are like, there's a bit of a plateau until some crazy realism thing starts happening and like another level of performance is capable. The next jump I really feel is going to be like AI and the developments of AI and interactivity that go along with the visuals I already have, because the visuals are fantastic. I mean, there's some stunning looking games even on like PS4 old hardware. Look at God of War. God of War is a beautiful game, and like
it's outstanding. They're
about to get a huge jump in power. So I agree. Like, I'm at the same point where like a lot of PC games, like across the board, they look fantastic. A lot of console games look fantastic. It's now about frame rates, stability, and interactivity of the AI and the type of systems that they can put into it per cycle for calculations that make it a great experience, not just eye candy.
Yeah. I'm not entirely happy with PC displays right now either. Like, I'm really looking forward to the next step of PC displays and them not being the cost of like a 65-inch TV. Like, I don't want to buy a 24-inch display that costs me $1,500. I don't see the value there. But when I have an OLED 65-inch in the living room, like, boy, that thing looks nice. It looks so nice. And sure, I get higher frame rates on the PC monitor, but aside from like the fastest of FPSs, I don't feel like I require it. A stable 60 F frame rate for most games is fine by me.
Man, once again, Briar down in the frames. Just casting away your
Maybe
frame rate, brother.
maybe he's waiting so that he can buy the graphics card from IKEA.
Yeah,
IKEA. I'm
Built
going.
into
3090,
the desk. That's right.
It'll
I'm
be called
going for the
it'll be called
IKEA partner board.
3090 it'll be
Particle
called the
board
3090
edition.
Joseph. No, the 3090 Joseph or the 3090 Barry. That would be the one.
But this one's white.
True. And you can build it yourself because it comes with the instruction manual.
Oh,
There you
man.
go.
Those little like self.
You can build your own 3090.
I would be into that. If that was a thing, I would be absolutely into it. Like if you could like build it and customize it, that'd be super cool.
It would be.
I like those new graphics cards, like the Nvidia Founders Edition. I think they're really attractive and they're really cool looking. I hope they're very effective at cooling the card because I really like the way those look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they fit in the 3080 fits in like a normal size 2 slots as opposed to like the add-in boards that take up like 2 3/4 slots. So like that leaves a little more room in your PC for other stuff, which I like to take advantage of.
Like statues.
That's not what I was thinking, but yeah, that too. What's next? What else do we want to talk about?
Microsoft bought Bungie. Yeah.
Wait, what? No.
Apparently, the internet said it was true.
There was a rumor mill going about this morning saying that Xbox and Bungie were in talks. Well, Microsoft and Bungie were in talks many, many times, but Bungie's price was too high. So it didn't go ahead or something.
Didn't
And then-
That's like Microsoft like trying to get back with the crazy ex-girlfriend, right?
But didn't Pete Parsons?
But the
reply to
sex
it?
was so good.
But Bungie's too expensive. But Pete Parsons came out and said, this is false. And everyone was like, yeah, this never happened.
Where did
Yeah.
the rumor
Yeah.
come from? Who started it? Like, do we know?
Game Informer, was it?
Yeah.
Was it Game Informer? Games. Hold on. I don't want to say the incorrect thing. It's in my
Like on the
Twitter
surface, it makes
notifications.
sense, right? Because we've seen Microsoft be kind of really nice to Bungie. Like, you know, Phil Spencer talks about Bungie all the time. He talks about the game, even when it was a PS4 exclusive, or it was a PlayStation, not exclusive, but it was like one of the games that you got stuff first on PlayStation with.
It felt like an exclusive.
Right?
So it was said, rumor. Microsoft has been in talks to acquire Bungie multiple times, but they fell through each time due to Bungie's high price. Via GB Decides podcast.
A pod.
I
we can
don't-
start our own rumor.
Oh,
But
man.
then
Guys, what should we
Eurogamer
start?
also corroborated the Microsoft Bungie stuff. And then Pete Parsons said, this is false.
So
All right.
you can see
You know what, if-
you can see a rumor like this being started because Microsoft does occasionally ask, "Hey, what would you guys think?" Because I'm sure lawyers are always talking to lawyers about like, could this happen? Couldn't we make this happen? So it could be based in something that actually happened. But man, that's a
mean-
bizarre thing, right?
Guys,
Phil
I heard.
Spencer
you
and
imagine?
Pete Parsons play Destiny together all the time. So I'm sure
Right.
there's been something like, hey, you want to come back? Would you?
Right?
Among friends, probably.
I heard a rumor that.
Let's
Let me
start
tell you,
a
rich
big
people
rumor.
joke
We could
all
get
the time about
famous.
stuff.
Yeah, let's start.
What if I
a
just
rumor.
bought your company? You know, like what would happen? You don't even
Maybe
like
they're
working
trying
there.
They're just trying to secretly
Oh,
buy them,
man.
so they can turn around and be like, "Hey, Halo's struggling right now. Bungie, you wanna come do a favor? Hold time."
Oh my god! I heard a rumor that the new PS5 is going to be $200, $199.99. Limited stock though. It's also going to come out
I
on
heard-
November 1st. Strange, right?
I heard the same rumor.
Yeah,
I heard the same rumor. Yeah. So that
Is
now it's been corroborated.
yeah. So
Okay.
I've also
now we just need an article written.
Yeah.
We can make that happen.
Let
Call
me
it Paul Tassi.
Paul Tassi real quick.
there's also some evidence that may or may not have shown up in my inbox about the potential that Target has got an exclusive on the first stock of the units for $199.99. So I'm just saying you might want to look at Target for your potential PS5 acquisition.
You know what I'm kind of
Yep.
bummed about is that I'm definitely not going to be waiting outside for the PS5 or the Xbox launch this time around.
Yeah, I thought about that.
you
I'm
know?
kind of bummed out about that too.
I kind of like it's not a tradition that I partake in often, but it's one that I kind of relish when I do. Is kind of staying around with all my like gaming nerd brethren,
Mhm.
waiting outside in line for a midnight launch of a console.
Maybe
I
they have
used to
like
like that.
midnight cubicles where you can just stand in like
You got to go full bubble.
stand in your
Or just some arrows on the floor. Stand
I'm
here,
definitely
please.
not going to GameStop this time around because I don't even know if they're going to be a business in November.
So I saw a picture today. So someone was in the comment there. So someone was like, "Oh, the first look at like potentially an Xbox Series X like demo unit in a GameSpot area," and then someone was like, "A GameSpot even going to be around by the time?" Sorry, GameStop, whatever they're called. Yeah, GameStop going to be around by the time they launch. But also, who would want to go to like a demo unit right now when trying to not?
I don't want to touch that. Nope.
I walked out of a Subway. I think it was 3 days ago because the woman had her mask under her nose. Like doing that action.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not. You're gonna make me a sub, and you're gonna get your COVID all over it. I'm not doing that.
I don't.
That is not what I ordered on the menu. I did not order a COVID sub.
That's like the third time I've walked out of a store because people were wearing masks.
Were they?
I don't get it.
Were they packing Impossible balls on there with COVID?
Oh man, some risks are worth the payoff, I guess.
Impossible
some
sub. Juice is worth the squeeze.
Oh, that's funny. Hey, but actual acquisitions that are happening: Nvidia buying ARM for $40 billion.
Can you
This is
give
huge
me that
news.
money? You can acquire. Okay, Nvidia, you can acquire me for $40 billion.
Discount over here, I'll go for $1 billion.
I'll go for 999 million.
So now Nvidia will basically rule the mobile market, like all of it, because the only competition to ARM was Nvidia's Tegra chips, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So I wonder if I don't know what governing bodies have a say in this, but I wonder if this will actually go through because it seems super antitrust to me.
Yeah.
Like it seems like they're creating a worldwide monopoly of all the mobile chips.
True.
Yeah. I have. Yeah. I read a little bit about that stuff. It's interesting. I mean, this is it's crazy. They're going to become like a supercomputing giant if this happens.
Yeah.
Between GPUs and ARM processors.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, the iOS Apple chips are made after ARM designs. So I believe Apple licenses the designs from ARM to then make their own Apple silicon.
The instruction set, right?
Yeah, the instruction set or something like the technologies, and it's linked to it that way. Apparently, Apple didn't want to buy it either because it was up for Apple.
Oops.
Maybe they saw we're like,
They make everything. It's it's not even just mobile phones. It's all sorts of stuff. Like a lot of things.
Your car.
They will rule the electronics.
Yeah.
Electronics, Nvidia rules everything.
That's fascinating.
Damn.
Crazy.
Yeah, they just came a major player. I mean, they already were a major player, but I mean, this is like an enormous acquisition. To be fair, I don't believe ARM actually manufactures anything. Am I wrong in that? I think they only license the technology out to people who do make the stuff.
That does sound familiar.
Well, I mean, either way, they now own the two largest mobile platforms. And that's pretty big news.
That is big news. Big news.
There's a lot of talk about PCs moving over to ARM as well. Like Apple's doing it with their Macintosh line, but a lot of people talk about PCs because the x86 architecture just isn't keeping up. ARM is getting faster than x86, and it can do it at lower power levels. So why not switch over?
Yeah, my 2018 iPad Pro is ridiculously fast at handling certain things. Like it can destroy 4K footage in video, which is like surprising. I mean, that's like that's an ARM Apple chip, like a 2018 ARM Apple chip that's being able to do that without breaking a sweat. The memory is kind of low, so it does run into issues with stuff like that. That's extremely memory intensive. Like some Photoshop things can be kind of weird, but it just shows you that in current modern times right now with what they have that's already out in consumer world, it's already extremely powerful. So a few tweaks and design adjustments towards the future, they could easily start competing with like Intel's chips and AMD and all that.
Apple also has like a major grudge against Nvidia because I think it was, I'm not sure exactly when this happened, but at some point Apple shipped a laptop that included Nvidia GPUs, and the Nvidia GPU was faulty, but Nvidia refused to take responsibility for it, so Apple had to eat it for all of the all of the defects, right? All the returns that were caused by that. So since then, they've never used an Nvidia GPU, even though Nvidia GPUs at many points over the years have been much better than AMD. They just refuse to use Nvidia. So they're just sitting there holding a grudge. But now if ARM is owned by Nvidia and they're planning to they've already moved their iOS line to AMD or to help me out here.
ARM.
They've already moved all their
ARM for a long time.
iOS stuff over to ARM. They're moving their Macintosh line to ARM.
Yeah.
But now, like they hate the guy that owns ARM. I wonder, like, they must be seething, right? They must be seething about this. But they had the chance to buy ARM
10 years ago, right?
Yeah, they still have never put an Nvidia GPU in a computer, and clearly right now, clearly Nvidia is the better GPU.
Nvidia are twisting their arms.
You want ARM? Well, we like Macs. Imagine this.
That was well done, Eric's.
A 3090 Mac Pro.
And if they got, and plus, I mean, like, you know, they can only do so much damage. But if Apple decide to leave there, they'll be armless.
Oh
that
my
is true.
goodness! Yeah,
that is true. It's a true statement. Yep,
it's true.
I agree.
It's true.
Yeah, so if this deal goes through, you know, we're probably not going to see any real aftermath of it until a few years down the road. But it's interesting to see the market shift. It makes me concerned for Intel in general. Intel's had some stumbles, and they seem to continue to stumble. And I don't think this next generation of chips is going to be stellar by any means. It's going to be an incremental upgrade. So
yeah, it's really been years of them stumbling.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, they're definitely not. Yeah, because especially like, you know, I remember before when it used to be like Intel would always be king, but like now so many people are like, oh, this Ryzen chipset is actually quite nice. So yeah, it's times are changing. Nobody's safe.
Yeah. I mean, they made a strong play. Part of the reason, this is speculation, but part of the reason that they've stumbled in their desktop stuff is because, you know, years ago that they really tried to compete with ARM for the mobile market, and they invested all their money into mobile. They lost that fight. You know, it didn't result in anything, but all that time in research was lost. So now they've fallen behind. They're not behind, but they're not innovating at a rate that's competitive with AMD. That's for sure. And a lot, you know, there's a lot of speculation that that's wise because they made that play for mobile. It didn't work out, but unfortunately they had spent their R&D on mobile.
Yeah,
I'm with you though, Teffy. I'm a little concerned for Intel as well.
It's interesting looking at 2020 and the future, what Intel possibly could look like versus like 10 years ago, it being just the premier untouchable.
Yeah, they were. Well, I don't know. Actually, 10 years ago.
Yeah, it was Athlon. AMD Athlon was the one that was like competing. It was like, yeah, they're good for cheap, but Intel is still like clearly the better one. And it's been that way up to, you know, some points now where it's like, woof, up in the air, and it's going to take a while for them to catch up, you know?
Yeah, I mean, still though, today, if I was going to build a strictly gaming PC today, I'm absolutely going to go Intel. Assuming I'm going high end. If I'm going mid-range, maybe not. But if I'm going high end, I'm still going Intel.
I don't know, bro. I don't know if you could talk about that anymore with how many times you've denounced the potential of a 5 to 10% frame increase and being like, I mean, come on, why would I do that? It's like, now you're going for the top of the line? Now?
Well, if I'm gonna, you know, I'm going Intel.
What if I'm gonna?
If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right. I'm not gonna half-ass it.
Theoretically, if I'm gonna suddenly get rich, you know, I'd spend it here. But
sitting around with a 4-core processor and a 6-year-old GPU. I don't know what you're doing over there in California.
I'm being financially
No
smart.
wonder the place is burning down. It's Tefty's computer.
Whoa. Whoa.
Oh my god.
Those be fighting words. Oh my.
Was there anything else that happened last week that we need to talk about?
There was an Ubisoft thing,
Was there?
like
yeah.
an event thing.
Was it an apology?
I was like,
No, that was
Ubisoft
actually
did
some
something again?
controversy. It was some pretty. So they put out a video of taking accountability, whatever you think of it. They put it out on Twitter,
Okay.
and then people were asking, so you're going to put this at the very beginning of your show, right? Because that's where people are going to see it. And they were like, unfortunately, down to time constraints and schedules, we can't put it at the beginning. We can't fit it in.
Oh,
So
God.
people were very disappointed about that, because obviously if you're just a regular gamer, you're probably not going to be looking at their Twitter, but you might be watching their announcement show. So
But it gets worse, because they also said in that tweet, they were like, we can't because of time constraints, but we're going to try and make sure that it's put on the VOD. And was it on the VOD? No.
they
I don't think the social media person understood that the VOD would be automatically generated after the stream. Thus, the ability to put something on the front of it is probably not going to happen.
That's hilarious.
and then people were like, this is your stream, so what do you mean by you can't fit it in? Like you this is your stream. You are controlling the stream. It is you. It's your thing. You're not like on Sony stage. You're not on Xbox. It is the Ubisoft show.
Guys, I would like to be nice to Tefty today, but there's just not time.
No?
Did he get a job at Ubisoft? Tell me what's going on.
I'd like to apologize for making fun of his PC, but there's just not time.
Oh my God.
I'll think about doing it on Twitter.
Briar, what are you gonna do if I build a new rig and you've hemmed and hawed over a new rig for too long and suddenly I have a better rig?
I'm gonna enjoy your spectacular streams with those high FPS numbers. I hope that you put the little FPS counter in the top left corner.
Just flex a bit.
Top right.
What's that?
I'll prefer it for the top right, to be honest. I mean, top left, yeah, just to be different.
If we're gonna flex, we have to put it in the center of the screen.
That's true. That is
right
true.
over the
Just
In Comic Sans.
current FPS.
Comic Sans. Special.
I like it. I would like that very much.
Yeah, there was also more news about Ubisoft where it seemed like one of the guys in charge had a personal vendetta against a Rainbow Six Siege player and sent out an email saying, do not talk to this person ever at all. So Ubisoft doing well. Going good.
God.
Interesting.
Consistent flow.
Was there any like reasoning behind that?
There was a video that the player made about it, which I didn't watch, but I think the TLDR was they got into an argument in a bar or something, an after party bar or something like that. And then he just held a grudge for the end of time.
What happened at Party Bar?
I don't know.
I feel like I've been on an end of that before.
It's just a whole mess, man.
Yet another Netflix show.
I've heard
Party Bar.
nothing good about that company.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, man.
For like months.
Yeah, a few years ago too, it was like I felt like they were the company to root for when like everybody thought they were going to get a hostile takeover from, was it Tencent that was trying to take them over? I can't even remember the name of the company.
Vivendi, right?
Vivendi, yeah, you're right.
Vivendi,
Vivendi was trying to do a hostile takeover. They were fighting to try and stay independent. Everybody was kind of on their side. You know, they were releasing cool games, and now, there's a bunch of sexual predators there, and they don't want to apologize or do anything about it. Kind of hard to spend my money on Ubisoft properties, isn't it?
Yeah, it's getting hard. I mean, I really want to play. I want to be a Viking. I do. I
sure do.
I really want to be a Viking, but like maybe I can just only be a Viking and everything else forget about.
I think I'll just steal a copy. I'm morally happy.
I'm gonna hold a grudge against this company.
They made my decision real easy when they're like, it's coming out November 10th. I was like, all right, not going to be a Viking. Good.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the same day. Oh, yeah.
Just the exact same day.
Yeah.
Not even like a day to go be a Viking. So I'm like, just not going to be a Viking.
Yeah, Valhalla was
I'm
already
like in the snow.
Yeah, it was already pushed down the list of things I'm going to have to play first. And being the 10th, it's like, okay, well, this is getting pushed out a few months. Maybe mid 2021.
Ghost of Tsushima knocked it down the list for me. It's like there's only so many of those open world games I can play, and Ghost of Tsushima was a lot like those Assassin's Creed games. So I was like, I already played an Assassin's Creed game this year, and I felt good about it.
Is the best Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that we all wanted them to do. Everyone was always like, "Oh, when are you gonna take Assassin's Creed back to like feudal Japan?" It's been done now.
They're like, not
sailed.
yet, not now.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's too bad. I'm really excited. I really like the look of that game. I want to play Valhalla, but I just don't want to give money to Ubisoft right now.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same. It's weird. What's going on there?
Yeah.
Maybe Vivendi should have taken them over. They're like, these guys are assholes. Take them over. And then everybody's like, no.
Yeah, true. True.
There was a Borderlands DLC that dropped as well. I haven't played it yet. I'm excited to play it.
Oh yes.
But I have I'm if you can talk about it, go for it. But maybe
sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to spoil it for you because obviously you haven't played it yet. But I mean, like, yeah, I played through it. This is DLC number 4, which wraps up the if you bought the season pass, that's the last. It's not the end for Borderlands, as we found out from the recent PAX thing. Oh yeah, we can touch on that as well. But it's the last DLC of the season pass. So this one is all about basically being in Krieg's mind. So it's wacky and wild. But I mean, every single DLC has got progressively more wacky and wild. It wasn't too long. I mean, none of these DLCs have been that long. I feel like this one was maybe a little bit shorter because I think I had it done in a couple of hours.
Oh, that's short. The main quest.
Or 2 or 3, something like that. But I mean, but then there's obviously all the. I mean, I didn't do all the side quest stuff. I did like the golden line, but it's quite cool. I mean, there's a lot of like fun encounters. There's obviously good Krieg and bad Krieg that are having like this mental battle inside them, and then you meet some of the characters that like you've met in previous games, obviously as visions and stuff. It's just like the way that Krieg's crazy mind is interpreting the world. You know, you're fighting like giant trains and just like stupidly massive. It's just like the kind of epitome of Borderlands, right? So yeah, it's kind of cool. Usual kind of thing as well, like a handful of new legendaries, like 16 or so. Shields, grenades, class mods, things like that. So yeah, this is the typical kind of thing. I mean, I enjoyed it, but obviously it didn't necessarily. There wasn't like a great deal to do beyond that point. But in the recent PAX panel they spoke about the future of Borderlands. So obviously it is going to be it'll be transitioning to next generation. So there'll be 4K 60 FPS support, split screen co-op, split screen 4-player co-op is going to be added on for next gen, as well as a split screen 2-player co-op add on for current generations. And your save will transfer over in the same family. So like you can move from PS4 to PS5, nice. Xbox to Xbox thing. And at the end of this year, all the Vault Hunters are also going to get an update where they get a 4th skill tree.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Considering they have said they've kind of gone on record to say that they won't be having new, they won't be adding like new Vault Hunters, but the fact they're going to be giving you like a new skill tree, but doesn't mean, of course, it's just a chance to like re-spin up. So it sounds to me like obviously, they're basically, I guess, in the same way before Borderlands was just like a standalone title. It sounds like although it's not a game as a service, they are kind of building on this more so sort of something they can kind of continue to add to. Sure. So it probably sort of paints the kind of the pathway for potential like next generation like DLC season pass 2 and just like do a whole load of new stuff and things like that. So.
Yeah. Wait, they also raised the level cap too, right? Like 67 or something like that.
66 or 67 is new. Yeah, anytime there's like a new DLCs, it raises up just a little bit. Just give you like I think it's normally 3 or 4 levels, just giving you like a few extra skill points. Right. So
I wonder if it's going to stay there.
Yeah,
I wonder if it's going to stay there for a while now at 67, or if they're going to bump it.
Yeah,
what was it, 72? I think on Borderlands 2 when that finally was done with all the DLCs.
Okay. Yeah,
so, I don't know.
Maybe. I feel like if they're going to do anything, they'll probably maybe raise it towards the end of the year when they do. Because I would imagine they didn't really kind of give us much details, but I would imagine the update that they'll do, which are the skill trees, probably won't just add skill trees. It'll probably be skill trees to coincide with some kind of content to do that.
Sure.
Maybe they'll add like a new takedown or something like that. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But
people in chat are confirming 65 is what the cap is right now. So that's cool.
They're doing free next gen upgrades.
I believe so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like the patch panel didn't state anything about having to pay for them, so I'm assuming that means it's free.
I thought that was impossible.
What?
Another kerfuffle that happened.
A new trailer for Godfall did drop. I don't have much to say about it, except this trailer, from what people, I'll put it in chat, from what people have been saying about Godfall is they're like, it doesn't look that interesting. It looks like you're just in a hallway. But then this trailer dropped and the comments are a lot more like, okay, I need to play this game.
That last trailer just wasn't a good trailer.
Yeah, they have. I will say there's been some weird trailers. The game still interests me because it's the type of game that I know I'm probably going to enjoy, even if it's just for a little bit. But this trailer showed really cool boss. It just showed amazing colors, and the world just looked really vivid and exciting.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
And the little subtext on the trailer says that it was captured on PS5, so it's PS5 gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, this looks amazing. I can't wait to play it.
Yeah.
I think that this generation is running into a problem that they've never had before, and that it's just hard to show how good these games are going to look on your shitty internet connection. It just is, man. It's like I think you know, like if you want to show 60 FPS, 4K, you know, gaming at high bit rates, it takes a ton of bandwidth, and like it's hard to stream that for sure. Like you can't really do it on Twitch. Maybe you can if you're, you know, a huge company, but they definitely won't let like Joe Average do it. And even on YouTube, like, you know, it gets compressed on YouTube, and it's just hard to show the kind of detail that really is. You know, that's kind of what this next gen is about. Is like, you know, like it's still the same games, but now it just looks really cool.
Yeah, I think the other difficulty as well is that like it's kind of it's partly sort of like that, but I think also is these, especially with these kinds of games, because these are the ones where like, you know, I mean, it's because I was talking about Godfall the other day, and someone was the typical comment. Someone was like, "How much are they paying you to say good things?" I was like, "I'm just excited about the game because it looks cool." But it's the interesting because especially with this genre, people feel like they've, and I get it, you know, Anthem and things like that. People have been burned before, so some people are like ultra cautious. But it's a weird thing because when you have a game like these loot-driven games, for us people that play these games, we know specifically the things that we need to, like our checklist. We can be like, wait, we need to see these things here, and if we see these, we're on board. But the problem is that, like, I think a lot of the time, you know, the people that are making the games, or just in general when you're making trailers, the stuff that we want to see to tick the boxes doesn't always translate very well in a trailer. Because I'd be like, hey, give me a trailer where you just scroll through every node in a skill tree. That's a very boring video to watch, but that's what I need to see, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, so I think the problem is you have a lot of these things, but they make these flashy trailers. They show you all the cool stuff. It's like, yeah, but what people want to know to understand whether they're going to get the value out of it is you just need to show them some stuff that's really boring to most people, but it's going to kind of answer your question. So I feel like that's where it's at, because a lot of these games, you know, Outriders are the same kind of thing. They show a trailer, you see all these fancy abilities, but you don't really see how it all joins together. So people are like, all right, how's this game going to play? You see Godfall, and I get where people are kind of coming from. Like, I'm super excited for it. I'm going to play it regardless. But I get people are like, all right, all the combo flow that I'm seeing right now is like the same sword combo, the same like 4-hit sword combo loop back to back, and I'm running down a corridor, fighting these enemies, doing the very similar kind of motions, and it looks very, very cool. But they're like, oh, I'm seeing the same thing. So I get where their kind of frustrations coming from. And obviously, every time a new trailer comes out, it's just more of the flashy stuff, and it's like, all right, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like you've shown me enough flashy stuff to know that like the game looks flashy. That's cool. Just like we just need one of those developer videos where it's like, right, let me talk to you about skill trees. Let me talk to you about how you upgrade your character. Let me talk to you about how combos work, and then people can be like, all right, now I've seen it. Now I can be rest assured that you've given me what I want. I'm on board. So that
makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense, Eric. That's actually what sold me on Monster Hunter World. Was I was like, all right, this game looks sort of interesting, but I don't know if it's for me. And I stumbled on your videos where you were going in depth on all the combos for each weapon and all that stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is really cool. Because you did, before the game even came out, you did like all these weapon breakdowns and like how all this stuff worked. And I was like, oh man, this is really awesome. So your videos are what actually sold me on that game. Nothing that they produced. I mean, obviously they produced the game, but none of their trailers, you know, none of their advertising or anything was what sold me on that game.
Yeah.
But this was the trailer where people were like, oh, what's this game? It's super vibrant. There's crazy colors and there's lots of action happening. And
it looks nice.
It looks really, really good. And I've been excited for Godfall purely because you just tell me that you're doing a sloosher. I'm like, okay, sloosher sounds great. I love a sloosher. I've never played a sloosher, but I assume I'm going to love a sloosher. But seeing more of it is very exciting.
What kills me is they say available holiday 2020, and then they're like pre-order bonus content. And I'm like, where do I pre-order?
So like, we can't tell you the date until the console dates are out.
Yeah. This is absolutely
wait. They do have a
like a must buy for the PS5 for me.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so pre-orders are either on the Epic Game Store or on PS5. So if you pre-order, so there's three different versions. There's a base version, a digital deluxe version, and an ascended version. If you pre-order, you get the pre-order bonuses, which again, keep in mind, no microtransactions in this game. It's not a game as a service, so it's just as is. But if you pre-order, you get Zero's sword from Borderlands. You also get chrome skins for 3 of your Valor plates, and you get like a little kind of chest that gives you some initial boost items. If you get
there's not going to be any microtransactions at all.
They've said they've got a record to say there are no microtransactions. Obviously, we've heard companies before where they're like, "There's none," and then they're like, "Well, not quite."
Borderlands.
Yeah, true. But they basically said, like, in an interview, they were like, in fact they said it quite a few times. They're like, no microtransactions. The game is like complete when it launches. It's not a game as a service, so when you get to it, you can quote unquote complete it. Like, there's going to be like an end game activity, but it's supposed to be just a experience you can do. We do know now that there's going to be an expansion for it because the deluxe edition gives you like the expansion pass 1. So there'll be some kind of add-on content. And then obviously if you get the Ascended edition, you basically get like golden weapons, golden skins, some fancy golden other stuff. It's just all like cosmetic-y like skin stuff. So
I hope this game feels good, like to play. I hope it's fun to play because I'm looking at this game, honestly, like I was looking at Destiny 1 when it was coming out. Like that's the kind of
I'll be honest,
I'm
into everything about this game.
But pew pew and the loots and the armor is really beautiful. And from Eric's video, again, did an interview with the developers of Godfall and talked about all the builds. And you can really, really get deep into min-maxing and creating your build. Because people were worried that there's a certain amount of armor plates that you get, and that seemed kind of limiting to people. But then Eric's had this interview with the developers, and it's like, well, this is like hardcore creating your own build.
Eric's your number one spot for gaming. Your number one news source for gaming.
I'm way down for Godfall. For me, I'm approaching it more like Marvel's Avengers. Like, I'm not expecting it to be my new game that I'm just constantly playing all the time. I'm expecting a solid 10 to 20 hour campaign, maybe some end game that I may or may not jump into. That's what I'm expecting out of it. If it's more than that, then pleasantly surprised. Can't wait. I'm gonna.
They showed off one of those armor plates at, what was it? Was it Xbox's thing, maybe? But they showed off one that looks like a bug. And
yes.
That thing is gorgeous. I saw that and I was like, I'm playing this game for a while.
I hope it has a cross save so I can play on like multiple platforms.
I plan on playing on PS5.
No,
I definitely want to play on PS5.
That's my plan. Like, it'd be great if there's crossplay, but like, I still feel like crossplay is just slightly premature for the game.
No, not crossplay, cross save. I want cross save. So if I want to buy the game 2 or 3 times based on where I'm going to play it, so that if I want to play in my office, I can play on PC. If I want to play in the living room, I can play on PS5.
That's actually what I thought you meant. Yeah, I still feel like cross save is just a little premature for the gaming world in general to where it's expected.
I feel for like a looter, it should be mandatory.
Borderlands did say in their patch panel that in 2021 they will be bringing crossplay to Borderlands 3.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's the thing I forgot to mention. That was the additional ad.
That's good. Yeah, Godfall. I can't wait to play it.
I'm excited. I really hope that on Wednesday PlayStation gives a date and then we get a Godfall date, seeing as it is supposed to be a launch title, and then they're like, "No, it's happening. The road to video games."
If this is a launch title, man, I know what I'm doing when I get that thing at home. I'm playing this.
Done.
I was like, "What are you doing, Briar?" You're like, "Well, I'm getting naked in front of my TV."
You playing with your mister?
I'm gonna lay my mister right on top of my PS5 and get to gaming.
Nice.
I'm really excited for this game.
I
hope it's good. Like that's the only thing that's. I mean, obviously, like you don't know if a game's gonna be good, so you get it in your hands. And if you're gonna like the way it feels and the way combat,
I know it
goes.
looks beautiful.
Yeah, it looks good, and everything people are saying about it sounds good, but you just never know.
Does it feel good?
Does it feel good?
Yeah, we'll find out.
True.
We'll find out.
Cool.
I think that wraps up SideQuest.
I think so.
I think it does.
It was a weird episode, but a good one.
Yeah. Rabbit hole.
Oh, I got to talk about Retro Slot tomorrow. Premiere episode tomorrow, 7 p.m. If you're a Twitch viewer, we'll be doing it 7 p.m. live. If you are a podcast listener or you watch on YouTube, it'll be up on Wednesday morning.
7 p.m. London time?
Eastern time. 7
We
p.m.
should
Eastern
probably
time.
stick to Pacific time because all of our shows in Pacific time. Don't confuse the viewers, Brian.
None of our shows happen in Pacific time. I know because I'm on them all. Yeah, I think is it 4 p.m. Pacific time?
Yeah, 3
That would
hour
be
difference.
That is
Yeah.
3 hours. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So look forward to that. If you're a Twitch viewer, be there. If not, if you're a podcast listener or a YouTube viewer, it should be up the next morning. And Jay Sniperton is going to co-host with me. The first episode, we're going to focus on kind of like, I don't know, just kind of like just catch up and talk a little bit about Super Mario 64 because it's kind of in the news with 3D All Stars coming out. Is that coming out next week? I think it's coming out next week.
Oh my gosh. I think it might be.
Eric's just like,
so
uh-oh.
we'll be talking about little Super Mario 64. Jay Sniperton knows his shit about like the history of these things, of the games and the collecting stuff. And I'm going to be playing a lot of that game. I've actually been playing a lot of that game over the weekend, so I know about my feelings about it as well.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. I can't wait to check it out. It's
This
going
would
to be
be
fun.
cool.
When you tweet out info on that happening live, where is that going to be, Briar? Where can people find that?
That'll be I feel like you're setting me up and I'm about to spike the ball,
This is
but
the
I can't
perfect
find the ball.
segue. Perfect segue for your socials.
Oh,
Where can
okay.
people find you?
Oh, my social medias, right, where I talk and stuff.
At the Briar Rabbit over on Twitter. You can find me.
Nice. Eric's, where can people find you?
You can find me over on Twitter, Arix, or YouTube, Arix Gaming, or you can go to Video Games This Week and catch episode 2 of The Witcher Workout.
Nice.
If you want to do
So
something.
I
you
saw that
can
come up and I
be-
didn't watch it yet, but what is that?
I have it's one of the sort of video games projects I've been working on with like HyperX to basically take what it means to be Geralt as a character, and I then worked with a personal trainer to then turn that into a legitimate workout that people can do in the gym. And it's now a 6-episode series where we go through the workout and basically train to be a Witcher.
That's
Is it all gym stuff or is there any stuff we can do at home as well?
This one is all gym stuff, but I will probably do I might look to do like a home version for like later, but this one kind of coincides with like gyms reopening, or well, they might be closing again, but at the moment, reopening.
How about this? Can you do a in the woods version? You know,
Oh, yeah.
in the woods
That would be
Witcher
cool.
workout. Like you're on a trail.
I want a montage with you working out in the woods. No shirt, please.
And then can you get a random bathtub and put it in the woods? Just a suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
We call that the content, right?
Damn, I missed
Yeah,
it.
These ideas are free.
Oh, dear.
Watts, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Just look for Miss 5000 Watts.
Awesome. I saw a tweet that you
Heard,
were,
you're losing some friends and
Mostly Fran. I've only lost
mostly
Fran.
Fran.
It's just Fran. It's just Fran as he yells at me for no apparent reason.
Making some lifelong enemies over there.
that's great.
Fran's just always like, well, I did see Tefty kill someone right in front of me, so I'm going to vote Watts.
I like
This
Fran.
is speculation because this didn't happen, but I could see that. I could see that happen. Yeah, for sure. I saw a tweet that you're going to do some more YouTube content. Also, is that
Yeah,
works,
I
huh?
want to start just uploading. It's, when you don't upload for a while and then YouTube has changed so much from like 8 years ago. 8 years ago is like you can kind of just upload whatever you want, talk about whatever you want, and you're good to go. YouTube these days is not like that. So I've always just been like, oh, well, I want to upload this thing, but I haven't uploaded in forever. Can I just upload a random video about a sidearm? I don't know if I can do that. So I've decided I'm just going to upload whatever I want.
Excellent.
I think that's a good idea. I'll watch it.
Yeah, that's
And
good
just
idea.
have fun. Like just have fun. If I'm having fun, then that's great. And if people like it, that's also great. And not worry about, is this YouTube algorithmized? Probably not.
So when I watch YouTube, I have two goals, right? As one is I'm specifically searching out a piece of information and I will watch that video, but I'll definitely not subscribe. But when I come across a personality, then I hit subscribe, right? Like, oh, I like this person. I like what they're about. Like, this is fun. Like, they're engaging to me. So I think I still think there's something to that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yep. That's what I'm going to do.
Awesome. If you want to talk to me, you can talk to me at Teft on Twitter and catch my streams, twitch.tv/TeftyTeft. My schedule has been shifted. I am now a Monday through Friday streamer, assuming there's no smoke that's completely dominating my lungs as of the past week. So yeah, my schedule is like a short afternoon stream and then a evening stream. And that's kind of for, health, physical and mental health, to keep me balanced in life. So
California was the first state in the nation to impose a smoking ban. Now look where we are.
What the hell, California? Now I'm smoking 4 packs a day from that.
I imagine what it was. They were like, "Oh, smoking's illegal. Got to go to the woods." And now look what.
Yeah. Now gender reveals. Boom. Lightning strikes. Pandemonium. Apocalypse. Which is a great segue into our Patreon. If you haven't checked out our Patreon for DCP Live, you should do that if you are looking to support the show directly. We do appreciate all the support that comes from the Patreon because it helps make our expenses happen for things like Podbean and people doing stuff.
I'm shopping for a new pair of Crocs, and they are not cheap.
Yeah, Briar's got to have his Crocs
they're in
fund.
fashion now, actually, so they're kind of hard to get. The like super limited ones.
I am a trendsetter,
dude.
Briar is a trendsetter.
Crocs and a fanny pack. Like, let's go, right? So yeah, if you want to support the show directly, you could do that, or you could subscribe on Twitch as well. But just hanging out and listening, whether live or on the syndication places or YouTube, is always greatly appreciated, and we thank you guys. So
thank you guys so much.
Thanks for listening to SideQuest number 63. And
SideQuest complete.
Kaboom!
Done.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
See you later.